All right, well, it's 6:30. Welcome, everyone. It's now 6:30 p.m., and I'd like to call to order the Fenton Township Board meeting on this 22nd day of March, 2022. I would please ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk Crew, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Lorraine?
Present.
Reed?
Here.
Contra?
Present.
Krug is present, everybody else is gone. No, Kessler is absent, Gopal is absent, Tucker is absent. You do have a quorum.
All right, I'd like to note for the record that our operations manager, Tom Broker, our zoning administrator, Mike Deem, and our fire chief, Ryan Bolts, are also present here in tonight's meeting. Additionally, the following township officials are also present virtually via Zoom, and we have our township engineers, Alan and Melissa Lawrence. I don't see Julia, correct? I don't think she needs to be here tonight. All right, Tom, will you detail the, since we really don't have anybody at this time joining us via Zoom, I think we can just pass over the...
That's fine.
All right, first order of business is approval of the agenda. Are there any requests to amend tonight's agenda? All right, hearing none, a motion is in order to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Krug votes yes, Contra?
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Reed?
Yes.
Gopal's absent, Tucker's absent, Lorraine?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, agenda stands approved as presented. The next order of business is the meeting minutes. Included in the packet are the minutes from the March 1st regular meeting. Are there any corrections or requested revisions to the meeting minutes? Hearing none, the meeting minutes stand approved as presented. The next business in order is expenditures. Are there any questions from the board regarding any of the invoices? All right, hearing none, a motion is in order to approve expenditures totaling $2,013,583.64 for payment. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Reed?
Yes.
Gopal is absent, Tucker's absent, Kessler's absent. Lorraine?
Yes.
Krug votes yes, Contra?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right.
Yep.
Moving on to the next business in order is public hearings. We have the rezoning of R22-001 Brookwood Fenton LLC, parcel number 06-10-300-012, which is Laring Road west of US 23, requesting R3 to PUD. Ordinance introduction and public hearing. Our zoning administrator, Mike Deem, will review.
Sure. All right. So what we're looking at is the 73-acre parcel on the north side of Laring Road, just west of US 23. So this is over by the school. What's being proposed is a 224-unit age-restricted community. So this would be for age 55 and up. What's interesting about this project is that it follows phase 2 of our water line, and they will be hooking up to water and sewer. As I mentioned, it's 73 acres. Now this area, right, whenever we look at rezoning, first thing we check is the master plan. And this has been classified as that mixed use, which is kind of a catch-all for developments. When we look at a little bit closer as to what uses are suggested in that mixed use, it specifically says high-density housing and senior housing, which is what's being proposed here. This is in the area that we're looking at as part of the new Thompson Road corridor. This is consistent with discussions that we've had with the Planning Commission for the direction we'd like to see this area of the township go. So the property will be accessed by one entrance out there on Laring Road. Buildings, there's going to be a couple different types of styles of buildings. There will be 8 duplexes, 22 fourplexes, and 26 plexes. There will also be a clubhouse, walking trails, and recreational areas as part of this development. Now, they provided a site plan with a landscape plan that showed the buffer. The buffer they provided meets what's required to be adjacent to residential properties. So the Planning Commission held a public hearing. We had some comments from the public from directly across the street. A lot of the concerns were what effect this would have on the water quality of Loon Lake. That is a site plan issue. It will be addressed during the site plan review. But you know, stormwater management is a key part of all reviews that we do in the township. You know, we have restrictions that will have to be followed to make sure that stormwater is being maintained on site and will not affect the water quality of Loon Lake. There was also concerns about traffic, which we generally see whenever there's a subdivision proposed. What's interesting about this is that even though it's 224 units, it is age restricted. So the travel times and the amount of daily trips are less than you would get for a typical subdivision. I also won't add any additional traffic relating to the school, since there won't be any families, there. So the Planning Commission did their review. They have made a recommendation for approval. It's consistent with the master plan. It's consistent with our future development plans for the area, and it would take advantage of the new proposed water line for phase 2. We have Tom Gritter, Chris Garner, and Kevin Royston here tonight in case you guys have any additional questions. And I'm here to answer any questions for the Planning Commission.
Quick question, Mike. You mentioned the water line a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be a considerable length of time before water would be available.
2024? That's right in line with.
Okay, no.
Yep.
We're 2022 and I'm, because it's a great thing that the water's happening, but I'd hate to have them build projecting towards January 1st of 2024, and due to whatever you could think of, the water doesn't get there till 2025.
Well, then you can talk to the guy next to you why it didn't get done.
Ouch.
He'll make sure it gets done.
I would suggest that's really not a good comment for a career move. But, I mean, do what you gotta do, Mike. I face the voters, you face the supervisor.
Look,
Okay,
the
no.
development works with or without water.
Okay.
So I think it's a great opportunity to take advantage of the water that's coming when it comes. And part of the PUD language says that they would be required to hook up the water when water is available. So
Okay.
they do have the ability to begin building prior to that. But we don't have reason to believe that there'll be any considerable delays.
That was just my thought that God love all the contractors. It seems things in a project that big seem to jump up without anybody knowing. And I hate to be the first person to buy and you're drinking bottled water for a year because there's no water there.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, any other comments from the board or questions from the board? Hearing none, public comment. We will now open the meeting for public comment on the proposed PUD rezoning. We ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes, which we always have in the past. Is there anyone here in person that would like to come up and address the board or the public at this time? Yes, ma'am. Do you mind coming up to the podium, adjusting the mic? And just, if you would, for the record, state your name.
My name is Sandra Wood. I live at 3311 Laring Road, right across from this facility. First off, that's Crane Lake, not Loon.
Sorry.
It's just a small little spring-fed lake. I'm concerned with the number. I realize that you all came up with 3.2 is a wonderful number to have per acre. For some reason, we had to have a bigger house and bigger property on the opposite side. So, I know they have to have a lot of units to make this work, but I'd like to see a little bit of variation as to the elevations and that kind of thing to make it more presentable. And I'm 55 or over.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the board, the public?
Mr. Supervisor, this is Alan.
Yes, this is Alan Lawrence, Lawrence Engineering. He is the township engineering firm. Yes, Alan.
Okay, I do want to bring up that there is a sanitary sewer capacity issue. You should have a letter in your package so stating.
Okay. How is that going to be addressed?
Well, something's going to have, it's going to have to be enlarged, and about 1,500 feet of it, that's going to go from a 15-inch up to probably maybe a 24, we'll see. We haven't gone that far with it.
Mike, you aware of this?
We didn't discuss it at the planning commission. Again, that's a site plan issue,
It's a site plan.
right? It's not related to the rezoning. And, it's one of those details that works out during the process.
Is there anyone here that would like, from the project, Luke or anybody that would like to address?
Yeah, this is Tom, I can address.
Okay, Tom, if
Yeah, absolutely.
you don't mind, please.
Conflict tonight. Yeah, thanks for having us here. Yeah, in terms of just the overall project, we're excited about it. Looking at kind of the future land use plans here, we think this is a great fit for the area. Luke, my partner, I know, has met with some of the residents after the planning commission meeting that we had about a month ago, basically to go through some of those concerns. We're committed to dealing with any issues of stormwater, traffic, and we're getting a traffic study done here. So, we want to do things the right way and basically interface with any residents that have concerns here, so.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Doesn't solve the sanitary.
You hear, Alan, it doesn't solve the sanitary issues.
Well, that's an issue that will have to be dealt with. All right, is there anyone else that would like to speak regarding the PUD rezoning? All right. All right, I will now close public hearing. The second reading and the vote on the adoption of the proposed PUD rezoning ordinance will be conducted at our April 5th meeting. All right, moving on. The next business in order is reports. Are there any committee reports to be made to the board this evening? All right, hearing none. The next business order is communications. Tonight we have none. Moving on, the next business in order is adoption of ordinances. We have a proposed sewer use ordinance introduction in its first reading. We've all reviewed the memo in the packets. Operations Manager Broker, can you provide further explanation?
Yes. First of all, I'll give kudos to anyone who actually read all 98 pages of the ordinance. It is rather lengthy. But as part of Genesee County Sewage Disposal District Number 3, Fenton Township, along with the cities of Linden and Fenton, are required to enter into two actions. One is an interjurisdictional agreement with the county, which, to summarize, gives the county control over industrial uses and the ability to enforce discharge requirements. So that document is being worked on, and we're expecting to have that on the agenda for April 5th. So with this board meeting, we're introducing the sewer use ordinance, which, with the exceptions of Articles 4, 5, and 22, are verbatim to the county standard sewer use ordinance and have to be by necessity. So Articles 4 and 5 have been revised mainly to ensure the township maintains the ability to control the public sewers that are in the township, because we do maintain them already. And Article 22, which has been modified to reflect the fees and charges the way we charge them. So those were the parts of the ordinance that were subject to us making revisions. So it's been reviewed. The county is signed off on our changes, and so, if you have any questions, either myself or maybe Alan could answer them. But it's more of, even though it's 98 pages long, most of it is kind of a formality to line up with the county, which is, they're required to do by the state.
Thanks, Tom. Alan, either you or Melissa, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I think Tom said it well. All we're doing really is lining up with what the county has to do. They're also being pushed by DEQ or Eagle now. So it's a downhill push. We have met with them, as you know, several times, and I think everything has been worked out to where we'll be pleased with it.
All right, thanks. All right. Public comment will now open the meeting up for public comment on the proposed ordinance. Is there anyone present that would like to address the board or the public regarding this ordinance? This is your chance for public comment. All right. Hearing none, I will now close the public hearing. The second reading and vote on the adoption of the proposed ordinance will be conducted at the April 5th meeting.
No, I was just,
Next business order is unfinished business. We have none. Moving on to the next business of order is new business, appointment of a Fenton Township Planning Commission. Appointment to the Fenton Township Planning Commission. Our zoning administrator, Mike Deem, would you?
Sure. You may or may not be aware, but there's been a vacancy in the planning commission for over 3 years. And so we've only had 6 members, when 7 would be a full planning commission. Recently, we had an applicant come in and was proactive, submitted an application to be planning commissioner, and that was Kim Pfeiffer. We began conducting some interviews, and we found that Kim really fits in with the planning commission. She has that initiative to take that, to be a leader, get us to where we need to go. She's knowledgeable in land use trends and that she's a real estate agent. She's a member of the community. She's also a former Marine. When we're looking for people to be on the commission, what we really want is people that want to be there. We don't want to have someone who we have to convince to be there, show up, and do their job. And when you have someone who's proactive, sends a resume in, and wants to be on the planning commission, I think that that's an excellent quality, and that's what we're looking for a planning commissioner. She's already attended a couple planning commission meetings. She knows how the planning commission works. Based on my interview and talking with Vince, it's our recommendation that we appoint Kim Pfeiffer to the planning commission. She'd be filling a vacant seat that expires on May 31st, 2024.
May I make a comment on that?
No. Absolutely. Go ahead, Alan.
No such thing as a former Marine.
whoa,
Semper Fi.
I'm just getting it in with everyone tonight, apparently. So
tonight is not your night, Mike.
it is not. I'm hungry. That's my problem.
All right. Are there any questions from the board? Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Has she really met the other members?
Who?
The
Kimberly?
Kimberly. I mean,
Kimberly is present with us tonight, and I've
I
had the
know,
pleasure of
that's
meeting
why
with-
I asked.
I was going to bring her up, but I just wanted
Okay. I
to.
mean,
Kimberly, would you
she's
like to come up to the
met
podium?
Marco and Tucker and,
Everybody else?
whew,
Well,
brave young lady.
I've also had the pleasure of meeting with Kimberly,
Gotta be a Marine.
and I think she's going to be a great addition. And just to let the board know that when it came to my attention that there was a vacancy, I went out and started looking, and Mike, delegating it to Mike, he did more than one interview. So he came to me with a recommendation. I met with Kimberly, and I certainly support her to be a great, or I certainly believe she'll be a great addition to the Planning Commission. So, any other questions? Kate? Would you like to take a second and introduce yourself?
Sure.
I am Kim Pfeiffer, and to answer your question, I did meet the other fine gentleman on the commission. I have lived in Fenton Township for 6 or 7 years now, but I was born and raised in Flint, so I've always been somewhat local. I look forward to serving and helping the community any way possible.
Great. Thank you, Kimberly.
Well, I'm going to try to help you out. I've known Mr. Marco for almost 50 years. I'll see if I can get your seat next to him. He needs a Marine. Thank you.
All right, any other questions from the board? All right, thank you very much, Kimberly, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, okay, I need a motion to appoint Kimberly Pfeiffer to the Fenton Township Planning Commission for the term ending May 31st, 2024.
Actually, you should make the motion as supervisor in
Yeah.
this case.
Oh,
can make
in this
it.
case, all right. I will make the motion to appoint Kimberly Pfeiffer to the Fenton Township Planning Commission for the term ending May 31st, 2024.
Support.
All right, motion's been
Second.
and seconded. Excuse me. Any further discussion? All right, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Cutrick,
Yes.
Kessler's absent, I vote yes. Gopel's absent, Tucker's absent. You sure you wanna go? Lorraine
Yes.
and Reed,
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you.
Kimberly, congratulations. Welcome to the board. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I'm sure you'll do a great job. All right, next under new business is resolution number 2022-15, designation of primary EMS service provider for 911 dispatch. Just to remind everyone that the board adopted a resolution in December to direct the 911 Dispatch Center to recognize MedStar as the township's primary provider of EMS ambulance services. The township has been advised to adopt a revised resolution to include indemnification language and resubmit to Genesee County 911. Tom, is there anything else you really want to add? I don't think there
No,
is.
I think it's a good summary.
Yep. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Who are we indemnifying here? Are we indemnifying the 911 consortium?
The concern. Yes. And MedStar has provided a $10 million.
Right, I remember we
Yes.
discussed that.
Yep. I guess the language was just, the language had to be changed after their attorney looked at it. So we revisited it, made the changes, and that's why we're coming back.
Makes sense.
Are there any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, oh, I'm sorry, Kate.
No, that's fine. Has Jack had a chance to?
Yes. So is John. All right, okay, resolution number 2022-15. Clerk Krug, will you please present the resolution?
Yes, thank you. Designates MedStar as the preferred provider of ambulance and emergency medical service within the township. Directs MedStar to enter into a release/indemnification agreement with the Genesee County 911 Consortium. Directs the 911 Consortium to dispatch MedStar, if available, to all requests for ambulance or emergency medical services within the township's boundaries. Releases the 911 Consortium from all claims and liability arising out of the performance of their primary public safety answering point duties. I'll move the resolution.
I'll support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Gopel's absent, Tucker's absent, Lorraine,
Yes.
Cutrick,
Yes.
Krug votes yes, Reed,
Yes.
and Kessler's absent, resolution passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, next under new business is MDOT performance resolution, freeway ramp area maintenance. Operations Manager Broker, will you explain?
Yes. The board may remember about 2.5, 3 years ago, we did a similar resolution to the MDOT to allow our Michigan DPW, which is our lawn and landscape contractor, to maintain the areas around the freeway ramps on Thompson Road, the Thompson Road exit and entrance ramps. And the state notified us last week that that resolution form has been updated, and they just asked us to submit an updated version. Doesn't really change anything, and I think it's been a good change when we added that to the list of things for Michigan DPW to do, because if you remember, those areas would get overgrown, they'd have junk, and now they keep it well mowed and clean, and it really makes a nice entrance to the township.
All right, thanks, Tom. Are there any questions or comments from the board? All right, hearing none, you need a motion to adopt MDOT performance resolution as presented.
So moved.
Support.
All right, motion's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Tucker's absent, Lorraine,
Yes.
Gopel is absent, Kessler's absent, Reed,
Yes.
Cottrick,
Yes.
and Krug votes yes, motion passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, next under new business is resolution number 2022-16, participation in Genesee County Treasurer Pays Program. We've all reviewed the documents in our packets. Operations Manager, will you update the board?
Sure, this is something we just got last week, but apparently it relates to a law that was signed into law about 2 years ago. And what it does, it's meant to help struggling homeowners stay in their home by providing affordable payment plans as well as reducing the amount of delinquent taxes owed on the primary residence. So what it does, if we have a property owner who is receiving a poverty tax exemption under that statute, then they're eligible for this program if we participate. And basically what it does, it gives them longer to pay off what they do. Let's say a property owner gets a 50% reduction in their taxes. The amount they still have to pay, they can have longer to pay if they need to without penalty. Quite honestly, we don't have a high volume of those, maybe half a dozen a year, but I think it's a good practice just to participate in the program, so we're in step with everybody else. And Treasurer Tucker agreed we should do this, even if it's not something we deal with too often.
I also agree. Thanks, Tom. Are there any questions or comments from the board? All right, hearing none. Resolution number 2022-16, Clerk Krug, will you please present the resolution?
It confirms the township's participation in the Genesee County Pay-As-You-Stay program, directs the treasurer to provide written notice of intent and a copy of the resolution to the Genesee County Treasurer. I'll move the resolution.
I'll support.
All right, motion's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Krug, will you please call the roll?
Kessler's absent, Krug votes yes, Reed,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Cottrick,
Yes.
Tucker, and Gopel are absent, resolution passes.
Thanks, Bob. All right, moving on to the next business in order is board comment. Is there anyone on the board who has additional comments or concerns?
One thing that just come up, it's concerning the dog park area, and I don't know if you folks participate, but we've received some complaints about individuals who have large dogs running them outside of the dog park penned-in area, and the DNR has got involved because within the next couple of weeks through the last part of May, the potential of deer birthing fawns is very high. We have quite a few deer there. And the individuals, from what I'm told, and the park group is meeting tonight on this issue, is they're allowing the dogs to chase the deer when they jump them out of their beds. And it should be known that that's against the law. The dogs can be confiscated or eliminated, and the owners would be fined. So we're gonna put signs up just to get to the point where the fawns can get up and move from the dogs. And I'm sure there's already people upset about it, so you'll be hearing about it.
All right, well, thanks, Bob. I appreciate that. All right, moving on to the next business in order, which is public comment on agenda or non-agenda items. We will now open the meeting for public comment on agenda and non-agenda items. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? Yes. If I could ask that you just come up to the podium and adjust the mic, and we'd like to know your name.
I'm Michelle Papatheodore. I'm with Keller Williams Real Estate.
Elizabeth Boggs with John Biff Snyder Real Estate.
And we really are unsure. It was unclear to us. It was recommended that we come here today. We have a client that's trying to purchase a property. It was recommended that we come here and present a variance application, but in being in this meeting and further discussion, we think this is a little bit in the infant stages of us going actually to maybe Mike Deem to start that process. So
Yes.
we apologize for taking your time today, but it was recommended that we come, so we will go through the proper channels to get the zoning variance that we're looking for. Okay?
Yeah, Michelle and Elizabeth, thank you very much, but yes, that would be the right direction to go, is to give Mike a call, and he will put you in the right direction.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time.
All right,
Thank you.
have a good evening. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the board on agenda or non-agenda items? All right, I don't see, no? And we have no one else attending via Zoom that would like to address the board. So if there's no other public comment, it is now 7:02 p.m. If there's nothing else, I say good night, and the meeting is adjourned.
Good job. I'm gonna give her.
Yeah, it was